Do you have $500 a month for marketing, but no website, no audience, and no clue where to start? Trust us when we say you are not alone. Starting from zero can feel like shouting into the void, but you don't have to throw money at random marketing tactics and then pray to see if they're successful. And at such an early stage of business, you shouldn't. You need a smart, simple, strategic plan that gets you visible fast with your smaller marketing budget. Welcome to the Big Bad Marketing Podcast. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Janae. We are marketers, coaches, and content dorks who love helping scrappy businesses find their audiences and actually get more customers. So, if you want to know exactly where and how to spend your first $500 a month to get real results, this is the episode for you. Let's
Let's do
do this.
this. All right. I know $500. So, on the one hand, it doesn't feel like much for a marketing budget, but on the other hand, it can feel like a lot when you are
Oh,
starting at
yeah.
literally zero. But if you put it toward your most important marketing priorities, it can go a long way. So, in this episode, we are going to share exactly how we would spend a $500 marketing budget if we were starting this business from scratch. If we were starting and we'll go through two types of businesses, service-based businesses or physical in-person businesses. In an upcoming episode, we're going to talk about how we would spend $500 a month on marketing if we were a more established business. So, if we already have the website and the business cards and all those things. So, if you are not a brand new business owner with an idea and a hope and a dream, that upcoming episode is going to be a little more for the stage that you're in, but still listen to this one because you might pick up a thing or two that you hadn't thought about, or maybe something that you didn't do when you were just starting out. All right. Before you spend a dime toward marketing, your first money, $500 or otherwise, whatever that seed money is for your business, all needs to go toward making sure that you can actually deliver the thing that you are selling people. Janae, it probably sounds obvious, but it needs to be said.
Oh, yeah. This is the time where you should go buy cucumbers because you sell cucumber hats.
Yes.
No, but this is literally like your first investment in your business. What is your business if you don't actually have a thing to sell, right? I guess in theory, I'm like, what is that? Devil's advocate here of like a lot of business models actually start by not selling the thing, but getting the money in the first place and then turning around, which I guess that's just a Ponzi scheme, but like then they turn around and go order it. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about like a legitimate situation here where you're like, I have just enough capital to start this thing. So I'm going to buy supplies. I'm going to buy tools. I'm going to get licensed. I'm going to get the softwares that I need. I'm going to invest in establishing my business entity, like getting the LLC registered. I'm going to get my systems in place, like scheduling and calendars and invoicing. And I'm going to make sure that whatever it is that I sell, my offer is really clear and it's ready so that when it gets in front of eyeballs, it actually lands and people want to buy it.
Yeah. So all of that might take you $500 or more. So the things that we're going to talk about for marketing, we're going to assume you have another $500 to play with after you've registered your business, you have your basic systems, you have a way for people to pay you, you have your supplies. If you're a dog groomer, you have the brushes and the shampoo and the things that you need to actually go out and do your thing.
And there's also a point I want to make is a lot of the things you need to start, you don't necessarily have to spend money on. And that's not to say the brushes, like probably you need to buy those brushes now, but like an invoicing system or a graphic design system, like to get yourself started from zero, you don't necessarily have to invest your money. You can start with all the free things. That's one of our core mottos here at Big Bad as we help starting out businesses figure out how to build with a very tight budget is like don't go buy a fancy software right now. Use Excel spreadsheets. Use the most basic possible system that's called MVP or minimum viable product. Like do it in the most simple, even if it's kind of rinky dink, so long as your customers aren't seeing it, way, so that you're not spending unnecessarily on it's not luxuries, but on just like these things that you will be able to afford once you have the cash flow because people are actually buying your stuff.
Yes. So let's just jump into $500 budget for a service-based or digital business. So this is your virtual assistants, your designers, your social media managers. This is anybody who is delivering services primarily online. And the goal of initial marketing is visibility. You want more people to find you, trust. You want people to know that you're a real person with a real business, and then referrals. Those are going to kind of be the levers that you're going to lean into as you start your marketing efforts. And Janae, like you said, all the free things first. So before you do anything and invest a dollar, what are the things that we're going to tell a service-based business to do that is completely for free?
For free. Okay, you are ready to get people coming in your door and buying from you. How are you going to get those people? Our favorite way to start is by making a warm list. What does that mean? That means you're going to write down the phone number, excuse me, the email address. I guess you could write the phone number too. It doesn't really matter. A contact format for people who know you and like you, or people that you know and like, right? There's a warm connection versus just like strangers. That would be a cold connection, right? This is people you who are already existing in your network. You're going to list out a way to contact them. And then later we're going to use that to actually contact them. We're going to say, "Hey, here's what I'm offering. I'd love if you're interested in trying it out or if you know someone who's interested," right? You never know whose cousin's coworker's mom like needs the thing that you're doing. So this is your opportunity to like reach out to all the people in your network, tell people about what you're doing.
Yes. And word of mouth and referrals through your personal network, that is how 99% of small businesses get their start. It's
Mm-hmm.
people who know you, like you, and are willing to either give you money or put their name behind encouraging someone else to do so. And that's, you know, before anything else, we would say reach out to the people and be like, hey, by the way, I do logo design. Do you know anyone who, or who do you know that needs a logo designed for their small business?
Yes,
And
exactly.
approaching it in that way. So, beyond the warm list, other free things that you can do is create a free link in bio page for your social medias. So, like a link tree, and list the ways that people can connect with you and get in touch with you. You can list on any free directories that are relevant to your service. So if you are a logo designer, Upwork or Fiverr or another similar platform might be one of the best places for you to be. And yes, they will take a cut of the money that you make through the platform, but it is technically free visibility and a way for you to put yourself out there so people can find you.
Oh yeah, especially if you're starting from zero and you're like, where am I going to get people to buy my thing? Like
Yeah.
that is in its simplest form cost of customer acquisition. Customer acquisition cost, CAC, right? That's like and it's not what I like about that model is it's not an investment that you have to make on the front end. You're not paying for that until someone buys from you and then the intermediary platform, the Fiverr if you will, is like okay, now that we've sent business your way, we're going to take our 10% or whatever the, the markup is,
Right.
but you don't have to lay out money. And this is why it comes back to like you are tight on your budget. So these are the ways that you start. And eventually, ideally, like you're able to move away from these systems that are charging you, but also you're going to end up reinvesting money into acquiring customers in a different way, which is why word of mouth, warm lists, networks, those are always going to be the cheapest, most inexpensive possible way to get customers and the thing you want to lean into as you start.
Yeah. And a couple other free things you can do. Post on your personal social channels. If you have a following, people that know and like you, tell them what you're doing. And it's okay to just throw up a post and say, hey, by the way, I am now a certified life coach. I wanted you all to know that I'm doing that. If you have anyone to send my way, I
If you
would
have
love to
any
talk to
cousins,
them.
mothers,
Yes.
brothers, sisters,
Yeah.
uncles, boss.
Yes, exactly. And then free Facebook and Slack groups. You can show up there and be helpful. A lot of local community groups will also have certain like days of the week where you can promote your small business. Like there's a really popular one around here that's like on Tuesdays. You can do a plug for your business and put it out to the entire group of, thousands of people that actually live in
Hmm.
your community, which is an awesome way. And again, it's for free.
Okay. This feels touchy for me, especially the one of like posting it on my personal page. Like, I just want to acknowledge that imposter syndrome is real and feeling like lack of confidence maybe in what you do, especially as you're starting. It's a very real experience. And for me, it was very hard to cross that bridge of like, okay, let me actually tell people that I know in my real life or have known in my past or whatever about what I'm doing. But the more that we the more reps we get in, the more that we do this and we're actually doing it, like the stronger that muscle gets for me. So if you're, like me and you're just like, that feels awkward, like it's okay. Start with like, I literally scrolled through my Instagram followers and was like, which people on here would I not feel cringy about reaching out to? And it was odd because some of the people that I'm closest to are the people I was most like, oh, this feels weird versus like sort of random people that I met when I was traveling or something. Those people I was like, hey, I want to tell you this cool new thing I'm doing. I thought you might be excited for me and I'm really excited. And maybe you know someone who wants this service. So it's sort of like a conundrum and just like want to acknowledge that it's real and it's
Oh,
okay.
it's totally real. And we have a whole episode where we talk about imposter syndrome and perfectionism. And we will link that in the show notes because that is so hard to overcome as a brand new business, especially when you're feeling a little unsure of yourself. And maybe you've only done the thing a couple times and you're not actually sure if you can do this business thing.
Yeah, your MVP. You're like, I don't even have the brushes yet to wash these dogs. I'm going to tell people to book my service.
Yeah, yeah, it can be intimidating, but all right. So before we dive into actually talking about how we'd spend the $500, now that we've covered a million free things, if you like free and low cost marketing ways to
Ideas.
market your ideas, thank you for the words. Sign up for our monthly newsletter at bigbadmarketing.com/newsletter. We'll send you things that are entertaining, funny, helpful, and always coming at you with the best low cost, low effort resources to help you market your small business, especially when you're just starting out.
We will send you ideas.
Yes.
Okay, so the let's talk about the top $500 moves. Let's break this down. What are we going to do with that $500?
For me, the first and most important thing that you need to do is spend somewhere between $150 and $200, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, on a website. Janae, why is it important for a brand new business to have a website?
Well, it makes you seem legit. I think is the main thing. Like you go around telling people I have this business, they're like, "Well, that's great. Can I find out more information on it?" And you're like, if you call me and you want to talk about it or if I run into you in the grocery store." But how are they going to get any further information, details about your services, your offers, your products, your prices? How are they going to do that thing where they build trust by being like, oh, you are answering all my questions. Oh, you know a lot about this topic. If you don't have a place to direct them and be like showcasing the things you know and building some credibility and legitimacy in a website.
Yeah. And the beauty of a website is that you can totally DIY. You do not need to come out the gate and spend a couple $1,000s on a designer. And in fact, you shouldn't when you have a small marketing budget. And we have a whole episode on how to DIY your website. And we talk a lot about buying the domain name, choosing a website host provider, using templates, the merits of having someone do it for you versus doing it yourself. So we're going to link to that episode in the show notes, and that is a must listen as you are considering DIYing your website. But you must have a website. It is 2025, y'all. If you don't have a website and someone cannot look you up online, you might not even exist.
It's yeah, especially if you're like new right now, right? I
Yeah.
like there are so many businesses that don't have websites and they're doing fine, they're doing great, in fact, and that's cool. But if you're starting today and you offer like a digitally related service or something that even if it's in person, right? Like there's still a need to have a place where people can go and look you up. I think that's just at least a core belief for us in this moment in time. But Brooke, on this, like don't drop several $1,000s on a website designer. I feel like that is a huge hurdle that we hear people say all the time when they're like, oh, you do like low cost, low budget marketing for small businesses, but how am I going to get a website? Because the quote I got was $16,000. So I just kind of dropped the idea. They just stopped going because they stopped doing it because they're like, I don't have $6,000 or $16,000 to like build this thing. And we're here like, no, don't do that at all. That is like a later stage. Because I guess my hot take and like unpopular opinion is even if you do have that money, don't spend it like that right now. If you're a brand new business, like get some validity behind what you're doing, get some traction, get some traffic to your website before you're like, now I need it to be amazing and expensive.
Yeah.
Hot
And the
take.
same the same goes for the other aspects of your brand, like your logo. You don't need to go pay a couple $100s for a logo. You can go on Canva and you can make a logo for,
Or go on Fiverr and hire someone for less than $50 to do it.
yeah. So you can prioritize a little bit within the bounds of your website and your brand, but you do not need to hire someone to do a full font, color palette, all the things. And granted, we do that. If you're interested in doing that and you have the budget, holler at us. But you can do all this on the cheap. And like Janae is alluding to, MVP, validate it, actually get customers down the road. You can spend more to redo all these things. If you want to do a total brand refresh, that's amazing. But wait until you have the money because you have the customers and your business is thriving and you are going to come at it from such a different place and you're going to actually be excited instead of thinking about this is totally draining my bank account and how stressful is that?
Start scrappy, y'all.
Yeah, start scrappy. So you can do the whole deal, website, logo, all of it, 200-ish dollars. All right. So Janae, where are we going next?
Okay, now you're going to do email marketing. So this is assuming you've started to build that list. And like, okay, Brooke and I, we started like, we're like, we don't have any customers. Who are we going to put on this list? Guess who is on that list? My dad, like Brooke's
My
dad.
mom, my dad.
Yeah, like our friends, people that we know and like and have sent emails to, and we're like, oh, I have their email address. They like me enough that if I send them an email, they're not going to unfriend me. So, and they'll always just unsubscribe if they don't want to be there. So, I think the idea with uh like a grain of salt here is the same as before of just getting the word out because, maybe my dad knows someone who's interested in the content we're sharing or your best friend knows someone who is like, oh, my friend is opening a business and I want to send them this cool idea that you included in your newsletter. So build a list, and then this is where you're going to start putting it in action. You can create really simple email templates in Canva, or often like a email platform like a ConvertKit or a MailerLite, or like we use directly in our website hosting platform, which is Squarespace. Like there's a pretty simple emailing tool right in there. And it maybe Brooke, you have a better sense of this, but like there are some basic packages which include the email portion of the web hosting service. So it's not an additional fee, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and a lot of email tools will charge you based on the size of your list. So when you have a very small list, you can probably get away with using the free things. And then as you grow and as you get beyond, say, 1,000 subscribers, that might be the point at which you look toward a paid email tool. But you do not need to run out and pay for the premium version of something or go automatically to a paid service off the rip. We would advise you to just keep it free for as long as you can until need dictates that you move up to a different service or a different tier of your current service.
Yeah. Lean into the free things and then incrementally build over and over. It's, I think, the bottom line here.
Yeah.
And then this is also your opportunity to write emails. And if you're like, I don't know how to do that, open your inbox and look at emails you've received. Like there is a general format or template that a lot of like look for a business that is similar to yours or a service that's similar to yours. What kind of template are they using? I'm not saying copy and paste it, but get some inspiration, throw it into ChatGPT with your brand style and then edit it and revise it so that it has like a human voice and your style. But it can really be as simple as that. Start drafting your welcome email. If you're already up and moving a little bit, you can step into a nurture campaign or a drip campaign when people get your lead magnet, for example, so that you're all ready to go. You've got some automations and that lead your subscribers to book something or buy something.
Yeah. And so as you can tell, there are a lot of things you can do with your email list that are very low cost or free. Um, throughout this episode and throughout the next one too, we're going to talk a lot about Canva. So Canva has a free tier, but some of the templates are reserved for the Canva Pro, which you can get for like $14.99 a month, I think is the current price. So that is something that can be a good use of your low budget as you're just starting
Mm-hmm.
out. And that $15 a month might be really worth it if you're going to be pumping out a ton of content and those templates are going to be really valuable for you. So, another thing you can do when it comes to your email is you can hire a contractor, freelancer to design your emails. You can hire them to write your emails. You can hire them to just proofread your emails. So you can do that on a relatively low budget, say somewhere between like 50 and $100, depending on, obviously the number of emails. If you're asking somebody to craft an entire funnel's worth of emails, that might look a little bit different than, hey, I did this welcome email. Can you just clean it up and format it and make it prettier for me? So you can use a little bit of your budget in that way to just sort of kick it up a notch in terms of you appearing professional in your emails.
Beautiful. Okay, so we are chalking that up between building a simple website and any tools and basic stuff you'll need for emails to be about let's call it like $250. So that's where the first half of your $500 a month on marketing spend is going. And then let's walk through what is the next place where we would spend some money and how
Yeah,
much.
so content marketing, and this is going to be probably a cross-channel effort, but really what you are trying to do is build awareness of yourself and your brand in the digital realm. So that might look like starting to do some, thought leadership content. It might look like showing up on Instagram. And again, you might want to use Canva Pro for access to those templates and then create some posts that are educational, sharing testimonials and client stories or giving people a look behind the scenes at who you are, the things you do, and why you do them. So you can use scheduler tools that are going to help you. And one of the things that we like to do at Big Bad Marketing is batching content creation. So spending a, 2 to 4 hour block where we're like, here are all of the Pinterest pins for this month. We are just going to design them and then we're going to schedule them. So certain tools like Canva, if you have the pro version, there is a scheduler in there. Meta has a scheduler built in. If you're using Facebook or Instagram, you can schedule from there. There are plenty of free schedulers out there, but within the confines of your content marketing, we've had people come to us and say, I know I need to be putting out content, but I don't want to do that. I'm not good at that. I have no interest in doing that. So
I
you
want to
can
make
use,
pizzas. I want to do the thing I went into business to do. It's so real.
yes, it is so real. So you can use a small part of your budget to have a designer make some templates for you and make the posts. You can hire an agency for, say between $100 and $200 to actually build out your social media strategy. You could hire a low cost freelancer resource to actually do the posting and the engagement and things for you. So in the realm of content, and it's not super expensive. I think people assume that it's going to be super expensive, but especially with the way that it is so easy to access offshore resources too. Like it can actually be pretty affordable, especially if you're only talking about like one or two posts a week. Like that's
Mhm.
not going to be incredibly expensive.
Sure. And I'm thinking even like internships are ways that you can get very low cost support for someone who's a marketing student or a writing student, right? Like they want the experience. So they maybe are willing to do it for a lower cost than like a top tier agency. So yeah, it's very possible. And Brooke, what are we calling this last piece, the content marketing piece around cost? And how are we hitting the $500 a month budget with that?
It really depends how much you want to go. I think you could definitely use the rest of your budget on content if you wanted to, between a strategy or having somebody else do it for you. But
Hmm.
if you're willing to put in the time and effort to do it yourself, I think this could actually be a zero cost thing besides, like a Canva Pro or something where you have access to a scheduler. Um, so it really depends. But
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, your thoughts?
No, I'm just thinking, even as I'm like mapping this out and kind of counting it down, we said about $200 for your website, maybe $50 for emails. Maybe let's even call it 150 for the content. You're still under $500, which means you're saving money, and that's girl math. But it also means you can go buy yourself a pizza or a dessert and treat yourself because you're doing a good thing by marketing your business. No, but on the real, I'm like, this stuff is very DIY focused. And there's like nitty gritty stuff. Like this also implies, unless you're hiring someone, that you're going to roll up your sleeves and you're going to do the damn thing. And that's awesome. And that is the way that it often happens when you're starting a business. But I just like really appreciate the place where even if you don't have $500 a month, you can scale these different avenues and make it work for a much lower budget, even if your budget is $0, right? Like be super scrappy and figure out how to get a free website up, right? Like maybe it's not going to have an ideal URL and it's going to live in like a notion.com/XYZ, but there's still ways to show up, to produce content, to make it low cost, low time effort, and start getting your business out there.
And one of the really nice things about a service business in the digital realm is you might be able to share services with someone else. So if you are a graphic designer and someone else is a copywriter, you might be able to say, "Hey, are you willing to write the copy for my website if I do the design for
Oh,
yours?" So
love it.
think about opportunities like that where it's not technically money out of your pocket to do the thing, but you're still finding
Trade
a way
skills.
to exactly. Trading services is awesome, especially when you are an early stage and you have the time to help somebody else, but you don't
Hmm.
necessarily have the cash to outlay.
Oh, I love that. Um, and I guess another thing that's coming to mind here is like, I wonder if people are thinking and they're coming into this listening, like, okay, where do I need to spend on my paid ads? And how am I going to pay for like marketing on a bus stop? Or, like maybe more thinking in a very traditional, rigid way about how to use marketing budget. And I just really love how scrappy we're considering this to be in terms of like, actually the things that we really recommend. And this is like, this goes for our actual clients are get your website ready, like get your emails going, start making content. This is how you build. You create the foundation and you go up from there. And then one day you will be able to get a bus ad if that strategically makes sense. I don't know. But like, don't like the credit card thing, the credit card commercials don't just expect to be able to afford airtime right now. That's not what we're talking about at all. And marketing really is this simple. It is really emailing people, it is really having a website. That's it.
Yeah, it's mostly just talking to people and finding the different ways to talk to them.
Speak
Um,
your truth.
yes. All right. So let's now flip real quick from that sort of service digital based business to a physical or in-person business. So these might be the massage therapists, the dog walkers, the mobile detailers. Just had one come out to my house the other day and they were
Oh.
amazing. Shout out to the Tiny Detailer. If you're in the Charleston area, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Oh, awesome. I love
Um,
that.
Yes, maybe event planners or in-home service providers. So your roofers, your plumbers, your HVAC techs, things like that. So
So you do something in person.
you do something in person. And when you are operating primarily in person, you probably don't need to rely on viral reels or like a million followers. You need local visibility and credibility. So still go back and start with all of the free things that we've already talked about in that episode. And then from there, Janae, where are we going to put our money?
Okay, well, I want to drop in a hot take, which is you still should have a website. Even if it's
Yes.
just a landing page as a portfolio, it's just a one page and it's a picture of you with your dog, right? Like, okay, for real, like make it a page, a picture that's relevant to what you do is the ideal scenario, but still have something up so people can find you. And then go get yourself some solid business cards, some flyers, some postcards, some pamphlets or brochures, right? Like I love super creative collateral. So like door hangers or like a mirror hanger or like an air freshener, kind of think in terms of what's relevant to what you do. But if you can be outside the box with it and it's still promoting your business, like that nails it. So it's like a dentist who prints their own logo and name on a toothbrush. And then they give you that. And then every time you go to brush your teeth, you're like, oh, I got to go visit Dr. Crentist. If you're an Office fan, you know Crentist. My new dentist's name is Crentist. Anyways, yeah. And then there's a ton of ways to have bulk quantity materials printed, and they're super good quality. And you can get a lot of them and give them out easily. They'll get shipped right to your door. You've got like a Vista print, a Moo, a Got print. And in a digital world, like if you are in an in-person business, you do still need to hand out a business card. And if you don't even know what to put on the business card, go ahead and check out our episode on Do You Need a Business Card? Because we'll tell you everything you need to know about business cards today and what to put on them. Um, but this is also a great place like you can bridge the gap of making yourself still digital savvy. Throw a QR code on your business card, make it easy for people to scan what you're doing and find you. Because if your collateral happens to also include like a pamphlet or flyers that you're hanging up in the park or where your customers are going, then you don't even need 50 of them. You just need one with a QR code that people can scan. And I think the secret to making printed materials work for you is to go and give them out where your people are. So think about your customers and your product or your service and figure out where your customers are hanging out. So if you are a dog walker, go to where dog people are hanging out. Go to veterinary offices, groomers, dog parks, pet stores, right? Like go leave a stack of business cards there. Go schmooze with people in the lobbies, right? Like with the permission of the place, obviously. But this is a great time to like offer promos, give discounts. These are all really good ways to get in people's faces with your in-person thing without being rude, and then they can remember you later.
Yeah.
Rant end.
So the printed materials are huge for an in-person business and the leave behinds and the business cards and all these things. You could spend easily $500 a month every month just printing more and more of these things. But the beauty is that you can kind of space it out too. So, say you need 500 or 1,000 business cards to get started. That might run you $100, $150 maybe. So you could always say, hey, you know what? This month I'm going to do the business cards. Next month I'm going to print the brochures. Next month I'm going to print the
Mm-hmm.
flyers. And then with this, if you are not a super creative person, you can hire someone for probably $100 or less to design these pieces of collateral. And especially if you are planning on doing high volume handout of collateral, make sure it's good. Like if
Yeah.
you If you can't do it yourself, that's totally fine. There are plenty of people online who will help you turn it into a pretty thing that makes sense and gives people the things they need to know to reach you.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Okay, so you've got your printouts. Now it's time to go to your network or start networking. Join your local networking group or chamber. The events might cost you between $25 and $100 per event, más o menos, like up or down a little bit from there, but that's a worthwhile investment. Now you've got your printouts, you go to the networking events, you tell people what you do, you give them your card. Boom. You can also book a booth at a local market or an expo, and especially if it's within your trade or like appeals to the consumers in your actual audience, this is a great place to one to many, right? You show up and you get to see a lot of people and talk to a lot of people, and that can cost you, $150 per event for a table. You can also get your name out by sponsoring a small local event or a team, and then they'll print out a nice sign and hang it on the fence, right? And there's your brand name, and it's right there, and people are going to drive by it. And that's another touch point in your eyeball ranking of people seeing your brand and knowing it exists. But these are all ways to start getting out there more if you don't have an audience, and it lets you borrow someone else's audience, right? Like there is already going to be an audience at a networking group or at a local expo. Your job is not getting the audience, it's showing up as your brand. And I guess that's especially helpful when your business is a locally geared service.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like Janae and I at Big Bad Marketing, we are primarily digital, but we are part of the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to be at the Small Business Expo at a table so that we can go talk to business owners who are in our ideal audience. So, take advantage of opportunities like that. That's a great way to promote yourself. And the third thing we would say for using your budget is, like Janae said, setting up your digital presence. So, having a basic website or a landing page, and that, same on pricing, probably going to run you between $150 and $200, but that's on it. That's for the year. So it might be like, $15 to $25 a month. But make sure that your website tells people how to book with you. You can add a scheduling tool like Calendly, which there is a free version there. You can link out to social profiles and other things. Just make sure that when somebody Googles your business, they are seeing what you want them to see and not some like random Reddit conversation or something.
Ugh.
So make sure you have a website, make sure that you're showing up there.
Love that. Okay, so I think in both cases, we actually came in under the $500 a month budget. So this is all super flexible, and you can stretch your budget even further by doing the free things and spreading the costs out over time. And now, what I want to do, Brooke, is a super rapid fire. Tell us what not to do with your limited marketing budget. Go.
Do not spend it all on ads without figuring out where those people are going to go and having a really nice lead system and a good creative that you know is going to work. Don't spend your money on building a huge website if you have nobody visiting it. And don't pay for an expensive logo or full brand package or full website design out of the gate when, again, there's nobody coming to it. Keep it
Love
simple,
it.
do all the free things first, and really focus on reinvesting early profits back into your marketing to make sure that you can continue to grow and be seen. So, if this was helpful, please be sure that you subscribe so that you will not miss the upcoming podcast where we're going to talk about the steps that we would take with $500 for a more established business.
Yeah, and share this with someone who will benefit, your cousin's brother's mom.
Thanks for listening.